Hi G Plus, how are you?
Hey, how are you, Arthur?
I'm good.
I'm doing
Welcome.
great.
Welcome on Inside the Electronic Music Podcast. I hope you will enjoy this episode. Can you present a bit, J Plus?
Well, my name is Jay Plus. I'm an artist born in Venezuela. Right now, currently living in Miami. This is my city, and I've been putting out music essentially since 2020, 2022. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
been
that's
doing music
cool.
since 2020.
Yeah. Which city were you born in Venezuela?
I was born in Caracas, and many of my years I lived in Petare.
Yeah. Yeah. You told me that in off. Do you have some first memory from this city? Can you speak a bit about this city?
Oh yeah, I mean Caracas has it's a rough city. You have to be, especially when I was living over there. My mother then happens to be a Colombian immigrant.
Yeah.
And she was a mother of two, single mother too. So the life in Caracas was pretty rough. I think it's kind of what made me look for music.
Yeah.
Essentially for rap. To express myself, to put
Yeah.
out, put it on paper.
Yeah. I want to ask you something about a lesson that your mother gave you. It inspired you in your rap, you told me. Can you speak about this?
About the lesson of, of never giving up. My mother, is she's always been my inspiration when it comes to continuing, uh, uh, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay. Yeah.
Life like this can surprise you when you listen to you. You have plans. You can probably be doing everything correctly, and all of a sudden something happens that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
And you have to shift your mentality. You have to be able to continue regardless of the circumstances. And honestly, my mother, in that sense, it was like a pioneer.
Yeah. And
She's
it she helped you to staying consistent, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been very supportive throughout my entire career, my entire life, pretty much. Obviously, at the beginning, when I first started doing it, because I was already grown, when I retook music, essentially, because I did it in Venezuela in my teen years, and then I moved to the United States, and my life became more of a day-to-day work. I got married, I had daughter, so I put the music on the back burner and I didn't even do it.
Yeah.
But during the pandemic, I re- I realized that the only thing that really matters in life is creating who you really want to be or who God put you in this world to be.
Yeah.
And
You,
besides your job, besides raising children, and besides being a husband and all of those things, you as a human, or especially as a man, I feel like we were put on earth, and I believe this, that we were put on earth to make a difference and to bring our fullest potential to expression.
yeah.
Yeah.
You move to the US in 2020.
No, I moved to the US actually in like 2004. So I've been here
Ah,
for a while.
yeah, for
Yeah.
more than 20 years.
Yeah, more than 20 years. That's why like it was kind of like a little bit of shock in a lot of people that knew me. To some people that knew me deeply, it wasn't, because throughout the years, whenever I was like happy or I was having fun in a party or I was with friends and I felt comfortable, I was sometimes freestyle,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, for the audience, like you decide to move to the US before beginning your career, or you move to the US and then you begin your career.
Exactly. So essentially, I lived here for a while. I worked, I worked a lot. I lived in a couple of cities. I lived but the first city I lived was Montana.
Yeah.
In Great Falls, sorry, the state is Montana. The city was Great Falls, Montana. And then I lived in Jackson, Tennessee. I lived in Corinth, Mississippi. I lived in Miami, and then I moved to New York.
Okay.
So I've been all over, and now I'm back. Since 2021, I came back to Miami, and in 2022, I put out my first song.
Okay. I want to put a little bit more context. How old you were when you moved to the US?
When I moved to the US, I was 18 years old.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
pretty courageous. Did you spoke
yeah, yeah.
did you spoke
I look
English?
young, but I'm actually 40 years old right now. So
Yeah, yeah. You live like the
very much.
American dream.
Because back in Great Falls, Montana, we didn't have cable. We didn't have cable TV, right? So essentially, we could only watch regular TV, American TV, and it was three channels that you can get through the antenna:
Yeah,
ABC, NBC, and CBS. And literally, I learned my English by just watching that and reading the kind of like the subtitles that will come out. Obviously, they were not good subtitles; they were like delayed subtitles, but you were still learning a little.
yeah. And to speak about music, you at this period you rap in English or in Spanish?
Okay, so I focus mostly in Spanish, but some of my songs have entire verses in English, part verses in English, or even part of the chorus. I use it kind of like to have a reference, kind of like Eladio Carrion when he raps in English and Spanish too. He has reference, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to use it in my rhymes. That's a lot.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
Essentially, most of my sorry to interrupt, but most of my polo is in Miami, and they're like Latin American, and they speak Spanish and English. So when I sing in both, they understand it.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
get it.
And the most important is the vibe and what the music give as an energy. Sometimes I listen music who I don't know the the way of the what the lyrics means.
Well, the funny story, I actually learned Portuguese and Italian by listening to music first. The genre that I love the most, or whatever. Like essentially, what I feel like hearing at the moment. Sometimes you're sad, you're heartbroken, sometimes you're really happy, sometimes you're energetic. Whatever you felt, I will listen to it, in that language, and it will help me a lot to understand it. It was, it also grew my curiosity to the language because I wanted to know what was being said.
Yeah.
Some songs are so like, wow, like what are they saying? It's like I want to know, and that's very, very important in order for you to learn a new subject.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's interesting to live the American dreams, and I think there are tons of rappers who live this, and it's almost better to have one on my podcast because most of the rapper who very famous, and I don't have them on my podcast yet. So it's
Yeah,
cool to see people who's inspiring like this, and yeah, yeah, it's very good. Almost we will understood in the next moment of this podcast that you begin really at the beginning, like you are at the bottom at the scale because you were writing when you were in factory, and like your history is really inspiring. Can you speak a bit about this? Like you were writing when you were at the factory. You work in a
yeah.
factory.
e- Essentially, my life got turned upside down during the pandemic. I'm sure many people did too. That one to this type of story, or happening. But yeah, during the pandemic, I was working actually in New York for a Michelin star chef, right? Two
Yeah,
Michelin stars, super famous, Morimoto. I was working in Manhattan, exceptional job, but we were the first ones hit with the pandemic. So clearly the entire city shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Found
And
myself
the
like
entire
five
world.
months. Yeah, 5 months in New York, stuck, man, no work, paying bills and everything. So I ended up having to go back to my original like city place that I lived in, which is Tennessee, right in Jackson.
Yeah.
I had some family that could kind of help me out over there, And then, but I needed a job, and the job was in Tennessee, man. I was in Mississippi, essentially about an hour from Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
And I was working in a factory. I had to make pouches. It was super hard job, man. I remember like waking up in the middle of the night and praying to God that my hands will not fall off because they were like trembling so hard and it was so much pain that I had to sleep with my hand like this so the blood will come down.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
And the car that I was driving at the moment, because I was living in New York, I didn't need a car. So clearly, right?
Yeah.
I got a car in Mississippi, man, and it had no air conditioner, right? And I lived 1 hour away from the factory. No air conditioning, no heater. Air conditioner is okay. I'm from Venezuela. I can live without that.
Yeah.
But no heater. And it was the winter, brother, the middle of the winter. And I would have to drive on the highway for 1 hour at 5 a.m. in the morning and then get to the factory at 6 a.m. in the morning. I had to wear, like, gloves, everything, And I kid you not, this is when I would say, what am I doing? If
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
worked all my life, I learned two other languages. I speak four languages. I know I have talent. I could do what is truly in my heart and still do better than what I am doing right now.
Yeah.
You know? And so I say, I used to be a singer. I used to love this. I used to do rap when I was 13, 14. That's what
Yeah.
I wanted to do. Unfortunately, life didn't allow me that moment. But who's stopping me now?
Yeah. And
My daughter's already almost grown. I done everything.
yeah. I work I worked in factory too, and I understood this. It's really hard when you begin to have a little bit success in one industry and you work in a factory before. You are okay. I measure this success because I know where I'm from, and it's really hard.
Yeah,
Almost,
imagine.
I
Just
was
prior to
working
the
in a
pandemic, man.
factory at my 20, 21 years old, and I
Oh, wow.
remember it because it was like 5 years ago. And after you can do every type of job when you did that. You don't complain at all in general. It's
Totally,
really, yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, and so that kind of like, working really hard to get to the top in one industry, like you just say, and then finding yourself on the bottom of another one. And not only that, but in a city that you left like 10 years ago in better position in everything, and you come back with nothing.
yeah,
Like you come back like, wow, you lost pretty much everything. And then at that moment, you're like, I have absolutely nothing to lose.
yeah. I felt the same when I began this podcast and all of this company of sample pack and software, etc. I have nothing to lose, even if it's fail. It can't bring me more down that where I'm from because I was working in the factory. So it's the bottom stuff of the life. You can't go down after being working in a factory. And yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we can continue a bit what you give me to say. In 2022, you have a big trigger. Can you speak about this?
Yeah, so in 2022, when 2021, I came back to Miami
Yeah,
with the promise of putting out a song and at least putting out one video. One song, one video. That was my goal, you
yeah,
know, right? And so I worked on that and it took me a couple of months to get everything together. I had recorded it around the end of 2021 and then I did the video around February and we put out the song April 17th.
yeah,
which essentially was like my debut song. It was in a white parade. It got a lot of reception. You know, I believe it has like it's around 1,000 views on YouTube, and then on Spotify, I think it's like on 80,000. It did very good. It did very good, somewhere around 100,000 for my first song. Obviously we did like a release party. We did everything like that. We did proper marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I put out my first song, I spent around 6 months researching how to do it correctly. How to claim my artist on Spotify, how to do my YouTube official channel, how to do all of these things. They're very
Yeah.
how to get your royalties, how to register your song. You know,
Yeah.
essentially how to take it as a business as opposed to just as a joke
Yeah. Yeah. How
or
to
fun.
yeah, how to market your music in general. And yeah, it works pretty.
Everything with a lot of money, with little money, with your brain, with one little camera, with a big camera, with a phone, with no phone, with microphone, with no microphone.
Yeah. All of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal thing. It's a challenging thing. It's a thing that will never stop being challenging. And when you're a man or a human addicted to growth, it's one in your life.
Yeah. It's funny that you speak about it took you 6 months because most of the people and the actual generation think that it takes only 2 weeks and only one song whose release on TikTok can make the career beginning, but you prove the opposite. Like it takes you 6 months before finding how to promote, etc. What do you think about it?
Totally. Well, in reality, I mean, we are in the era of social media where we think that everything happens in 7 seconds to a minute,
Yeah,
right? Because you're seeing it like that, you're seeing it edited like that, But in 98% to 99% of every case that you know of a famous artist out there, especially an artist who has a longevity in their career, right? And they have had either a regular to a very successful career or even to a arguably a lower tier successful career. They have been doing this for years.
yeah,
They weren't discovered for like, oh, maybe you heard the last song, but they have put 150 songs.
yeah,
You know, there are some artists like Drake. I think they have 3% on hits
yeah,
out of all his songs. Only 5% or 3% are hits. You understand? And he has put probably like 800 to 1,000 songs. If I'm just rough estimating. I don't know numbers. If we Google, and I'm sure it will be more songs like that.
yeah,
You know, and this is something that some experts that I follow as well. They talk about that. Like most of the artists that you find in every genre have hundreds of songs, and then they hit. Obviously, most of it, there are some of people who clearly have done it overnight,
yeah, yeah.
but that's the exception to the rule.
I was speaking with the last guest who was in the US too and produced Steakhouse, and he told me that music take times, and like if you think you will grow in 1 month without spending money and very fast, it will be dead. Like you can hope, but it will not work very well. You need to spend money, and there are techniques to go faster. If you put ads, for example, in Instagram or stuff like this, it will grow faster compared to only organic. But it's necessary to invest time and money in your career if you want to arrive where you want to arrive and achieve your goals, etc. it's necessary to pass time and spend money almost at the beginning. So yeah,
Yeah, totally. Obviously, is everyone has their own strategy, right?
yeah, yeah,
But the reality of the game is that you're gonna be essentially you have to invest time, money, energy, hope,
yeah,
love, tears, sweat. No
yeah,
one, and you have to be someone who really wants to do it because nobody's gonna tell you, hey, you have to write, hey, you have to find the beats, hey, you have to go to the studio, hey, you have to promote the song, hey, you gotta go to videos, hey, remember you gotta change the clothes, you gotta match, everything has to look good. Make sure how you look in the video, We have to put it out this week. We have to promote it this week. We have,
yeah, yeah,
maybe you have a song that you love that you work for 3 months in it and you play with it and you fixed it
yeah,
and you're like, wow, this is a hit, and you put it out and nobody cares.
yeah. That's the game. At the
This is
running, in my opinion, running an artist career, it's like running a company. The hardest is the beginning, and when you are launching,
we're in Miami.
it's easier. But the hardest is the beginning. Like everything you do in life, and it's just close to launch a company
Everything.
because the offer is your music. So it's like you have a new offer every month or every 2 weeks if you release the song every 2 weeks. But the strategy is the same. So if you want to develop a producer artist, you have to think like an entrepreneur. And where is the best place to put money on? Is it on marketing? Is it on studio session, etc.? Depends of where your career is, but most of the time it's the same. It's just you need more people who saw you because Spotify don't pay it very well. It's not the same price as if you have an offer at 100 euro because one stream is yeah, even not 1 cent. So it's necessary to have more people who know you to have the same money, but globally is the same. We will speak about a strategy that you had at the beginning of your career, but I will ask you about how you create your stage. But for the online marketing strategy for promote the music, which strategy are you using actually? Like we can know that you use the podcast because you are on my podcast, but probably you use different stuff. Can you speak a bit about it?
Yeah, obviously, there's always paid promos. You can do that through like YouTube ads, or you can do that through like playlisting or pay to play, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Basically, that's always, or you can do on Instagram and Spotify. You can do discover. There is this other thing in Spotify where you have already been putting out music and you're like a track with them, right? They will give you the opportunity to essentially to promote your music through them, right? To where they keep it's called showcasing, I believe, and they keep 30% of your royalties. So they pay you 30% of the royalties, but they will send it to everybody, and depending on how they react with it, they'll continue to show, which is really good.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a natural and it's organic. It's super like good from Spotify because it's from them and for them.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, but my best form of promotion, to be honest with you, is live shows and a lot of content on Instagram,
yeah,
YouTube, TikTok. YouTube Shorts maintain my YouTube views high all the
yeah,
time, whether I am putting out a song or no, whether I have a video, like a full format video of the song, or whether I'm doing shorts, they're keeping my views. The same thing with Instagram.
yeah. It's pretty cool. YouTube Short works very well also for me and to promote the podcast because like the people stay on the same platform between YouTube Short and long video, and it's really cool because like you don't need to send the people to another platform, and it's easier for everybody. Yeah, that's funny. I would like to ask you
Yeah,
a
it's
question.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's bombastic. No, it's fantastic. Uh,
Bombastic, bombastic.
yeah, that's good to have you on this podcast because you have experience in your career because you don't begin yesterday. And what I
Yeah,
recommend to my student and the producer who begin to promote their music in my coaching program, I recommend them to use only one strategy like streaming or organic or paid ads to promote their music. And most of the time I convince them to use organic strategy, like come on my podcast and use my media to bring the people who are listening my media to their Spotify account to get paid thanks to stream. But probably you have a different idea about this.
yeah. I also do promoting through streaming services and things like this. Obviously, we all have to do it, but the reality is that you gotta have the connection with people,
Yeah,
and you gotta see their face when you're singing your song. You gotta see how they react when you're on stage, when you're talking to them. You gotta feel that feedback, because
yeah,
this is the only way that you actually see whether your product is working or not. To be honest, you can put on the face hundreds of thousands of people and pay to play and everything, and keep listen to it for a little bit and continue with their lives.
yeah,
It's only when you like when they can only relay your music to their life, to themselves, or they see it like in a living situation,
yeah,
then they can truly connect, and you as an artist can actually see that in your fans, and in your, how do you call it, and the people they come to see it, essentially, they come to see it.
yeah. At the beginning, what strategy did you use, and right now, do you use more strategy? Because probably I was not very clear before, and like most of the time, the different way to get paid thanks to your music is streaming, of course. After you can send merchandising or make jigs, or there are other way, but the main way is them way. Actually, do you do like stream or merchandising, or do you produce you on stage? Which stuff do you do?
So essentially, I don't really have merchandise per se, but I do have a. I created essentially a show that's called Tumbakale.
Yeah,
Me and another artist, Tanishka Perry, we are the creators of Tumbakale. Essentially, this was an initiative for us to showcase local artists from Miami, right?
yeah,
Here in Miami, in different locations, like different clubs, different, music venues, and also giving us a chance to promote our music in live scene. You know,
yeah,
but Tumbakal essentially is, and we focus on having studies that were coming up.
yeah. That's cool.
But
Yeah, yeah.
we sold tickets, and we had over 40 guests on over 40 artist guests.
Yeah. You told me that
Yeah.
like you create your own event Tumbakale, like you said, and like at the beginning of your career, you use it as a crown crash test before release the song on platform. You played them at Tumbakale, and so what experience did you get thanks to this?
Well, you get the reaction. You see how they're receiving the song, essentially.
Yeah,
And because you have songs that people will listen to them and immediately dance, or immediately pay attention to it, or connect to the words. And some other songs where you're singing and everybody's just talking to each other and
yeah.
nobody's paying attention. And it's normal because this happens in every industry. It happened to Van Gogh. Van Gogh, the painter, right?
Yeah,
He became famous post-mortem after he died. Why? Because all his paintings were brought in an attic until this lady came and found his notebook, right? And
yeah,
started reading the notebook and realized that every single painting had a story behind it.
yeah,
And now everybody knows about Van Gogh,
yeah.
correct?
And he didn't even know that we know
So
him.
to touch back on what you were saying earlier, right? About longevity in a career, correct?
Yeah,
What are you trying to do? Are you trying to be a one hit wonder? Or are you trying to create a legacy?
yeah. I prefer to create a legacy.
If you're trying to create a legacy, you know that it will take forever.
Yeah,
Totally, totally.
yeah, yeah. That's cool
I'm with you.
that's cool to speak with about Tumbakale because like when you create this, you are not in your artist skin. You are more in a businessman skin, and you have to learn new skills to bring people at Tumbakale, etc. What's the difference between this and being an artist?
I'm glad you asked, and I just want to say, I want to take a second to recognize that this wouldn't be able, or we wouldn't have pulled it off as easy if it wasn't for Tanishka Perry as well, you know,
Yeah,
because this is very challenging, putting 12 artists together, talking to each one of them, getting their photos, their music, having them come together at a spot to promote it, then to rehearse, you know, having them move to sell their tickets to bring people, talking to the venue, and it's countless conversations, are you bringing how many people are coming? What's the sales like? How many people are we gonna need to serve everybody? All of these things, sound check, preparing all of these little minuscule things that seem like nothing, but when you add up, it's like wow, as a mountain.
yeah,
So it's always good to have someone that backs you up with all of these things, or the literally is right next to you grinding. So it's a full business, and obviously we did it with the intention of promoting our music and creating this. But in reality too, it was a platform to help hundreds of artists, you know,
yeah.
especially artists that didn't have the money, the resources, or the knowledge to promote their music.
Yeah. And like you begin this from scratch, so it's pretty courageous because it's proof like
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
it's crazy to launch a stage from scratch. What issue did you have? What problem did you get the most at the beginning? Tons. Yeah.
The first singer will show up 1 hour late, like things like this.
Oh fuck.
Waiting for the songs to be, or like, we got the song. Oh, I'll give you the song tomorrow. No, my producer, and it was like, things like that.
Yeah.
That a lot of minor things, but like I say, when in a daily basis, have 30 of them showing up to you, it's like you have to like learn to circumnavigate them, and also while you're putting out music, for example, I was putting out 6 songs throughout the whole year while I was doing 6 shows. So you imagine, I was doing a song every 2 months, promoting, doing videos, everything, creating content, promoting the show, interviewing artists. It's, and, to be honest with you, last year, I took a little break from it because I was putting out El Camino, my 10-song album,
Yeah.
and it was, man, between work, between the music, putting out the 10 songs in Tumbakale, it was just, on top of that, I work out, I have a dog, you know, I have to do a lot of things. So otherwise, if I don't work out, for example, I don't even want to write. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You speak to me about El Camino, who were released in 2025. I'm pretty impressed because you arrived to bring artists from many different countries on this album. You told me that you bring artists from Argentina, Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela, of course, because it's your country, and the US too. So it's
Republic, my producer.
from where? Repeat.
Also, actually, two of the producers. Okay, so one producer is Venezuelan, one is Dominican, and the other one is from Ecuador.
Wow, it's
Kevin Diaz from Ecuador. Eddie Beethoven is
yeah.
from Dominican Republic, and Daniel People Music is from Venezuela.
Oh, that's crazy. I want to ask you, how did you do to record the track with them? Like you move them, you move there, or you send them by distance?
You know, it's this is why I like that you asked this, and I want to just put a sign on really quick, right? This is why you should always pursue the fullness of what God put you in this life to do, right? And when you have something in your heart that it's that you're called out to do, you must pursue it and you must do it at all costs, correct? Including at the loss of the people that love you the most or the people that you cherish their opinion the most in life, right? When I created Tumbakale next to Tanishka Perry, he gave us the opportunity to make us amazing talents in this city and to work next to them, correct? And because we gave them the opportunity to showcase their talent in our stage, right? They were willing and they were extremely happy to collaborate with us after,
Yeah.
correct? And obviously, it's like everything in the world. If you're doing something correct and you continue to do it correct, good things will happen to you, and people are gonna want to work with you, and they're gonna want to collaborate with you, and things like this will come to be. So essentially, that's El Camino is the product of doing things right.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
Yeah, it's a proof that you did the stuff right because you arrived like at the top 7 on Spotify chart, and it's really good
that song
because
is incredible. I mean, the production, people, music. He's an excellent producer. You know, he's he has co-written and made thousands of hits. I think he's one of the number one writer for Gente de Zona. I don't know if you ever heard of this band, but they're a Cuban, super famous internationally. They have couple of hits with Mark Anthony, with Enrique Iglesias, and
yeah,
he co-produced Ellos Saben with me.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Amazing.
You get 1 billion stream, so 1 million stream.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And
Yeah,
it was a dream come true, honestly.
yeah, you
That
stayed.
was my goal, honestly. I had a few goals for that album, and when I told my distributor that I wanted 1 million streams, so that's kind of like that would be the goal, amazing goal. Like God will allow me to hit it,
Yeah,
and it happened.
yeah, and yeah, 4 weeks, almost 1 billion stream is very respectful, but staying 4 weeks at the top 50 Spotify in Venezuela, it's almost good too. It's similar, like
I
the
was
balance.
competing with Bad Bunny. Imagine I was competing with all of them, with all of the top artists in the world, and I came out seventh. So that was a wow. I almost cried.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's like it launched your career because it was like last
Mhm.
week, last year. And I hope Bombastic will work as much. And I wish you too. And yeah, probably it will work too. But it proves the stuff who you spoke before about being consistent and staying motivated and continue to get to hope work because you get 1 million stream and you come from working at the factory. So it's really good to arrive to do that because before you were working at the factory
Yeah,
and
imagine.
you arrived to get 1 million stream. So not everyone can do it, but the people who are motivated and staying consistent and apply the right stuff to promote music, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
arrive
No, no.
at 1 billion
In
stream.
reality, is
Yeah,
you, let me ask you, when you started doing podcasts, I'm sure you didn't have the support that you have now, right? But you kept going.
yeah. Every single week's minimum, and I will release more episode in the future because more I publish, more there are streams. I'll report that, and like it's the seventh episode this one, and I arrived to get 50K views per month on social media, and on YouTube it's approximately divided by 10. But like I have great guests, so almost if the guests who come help me to promote it on social media, it will grow perfectly, and it's
That's
crazy. I think at the end of the summer I can be at minimum 300 stream per month with only 10 episodes, so it's pretty good. Yeah, we can talk about which
yeah. Honestly, if you stay in this path, and I stay in this path, we will be speaking in 5 years, and we will be levels high,
yeah.
mountains. You know, I was very interested on doing this podcast, although I know you're in your beginning stages of it, because I believe that if you continue to do this, this will be an episode to be remembered.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I follow a lot of podcasts who works, and approximately in after 10th episode, it's begin to grow. Most of the podcasts scale at after 1 year because they release one episode every month or every 2 weeks, and like I did 10 times more because like I make minimum one per week. Like most of my life is recording podcast, and it works to batch episode, and that's great because the algorithm like when I release a lot, and it's good. I don't make this podcast only for the algorithm, but it's cool if
Yep.
people see what you are recording because I don't want to lose my time like you. And yeah, we can
Yeah.
speak.
No, YouTube is good for you because when you do your episode, right?
Yeah,
When you do your episode, you chop it into a lot of short form videos, and then you can post every single day, even two, three times a day for
yeah.
like 2 weeks.
Yeah. From 2 weeks, I begin to post 3 times per day, and before I was posting one times per day, and I report that it's better to post 3 times per day. I chat with Meta AI, and they recommend me to do that. So for the people who have a podcast, you can use this strategy. It's not secret.
Well, the thing with you, because a podcast, it has so many very good short moments that you can pick from.
Yeah.
So, and it's actually even better because some people don't have the whole time to be watching the whole hour of the podcast.
Yeah. But for that, I can give the secret for people who listen this podcast and want to build one or have already one. I use a software whose name is Riverside, and it cuts automatically with AI. So that's why I can release as fast because like in 1 hour I record it, or 1 hour and a half, depends of how long we speak, and after 1 hour of editing, and it's just ready to be pushed on social media and platform, and it save a lot of time
Yeah.
because normally edit a podcast takes so much more time, but right now I have nothing to do, so it's really cool.
Just
Yeah,
to edit my song, it's crazy.
yeah,
Like to edit the content that I create to promote my song, it just takes a lot of time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. We can continue to speak about what opportunity brings you the million of stream. You told me that you get a deal with Sony Latin after this million.
Yeah. So Orchid essentially, well, it's not that I got a deal with them. I got it prior to that. I got a deal to distribute my music while holding all the rights. You know.
Yeah, Okay, that's cool.
Really good. It
You
was a distributing deal, like a
and you also told me that you have your independent label. Do you have artists on this? It's on the Beat Boy production. Pretty fun the
on the
name.
Big Boy production. So essentially, we have done a few productions, from videos to shows,
Yeah,
you know. But right now, since it's mostly focusing on growing J plus,
yeah,
we haven't signed any other artists yet.
yeah. It's more to produce your own career. It's not for other artists.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a
It's
good.
essentially it's my label, and it obviously the intent is for it to grow and in the future house other artists.
Yeah,
But in the current moment, it's mostly based for managing the career or J plus.
yeah. That's smart because it's not a good idea to try to develop a lot of career if you want to scale your own career. It's not possible to do everything at the same time.
Yeah. And thank you. There you go. The reality is that you can't really be multitasking when you try to do something perfect.
Yeah. You can't do everything or the best. Yeah. Well, I like this podcast and like we can speak about the last part and speaking about your vision for the future. You have a strategy and for you what's the next destination and what's the ultimate goal that you want to arrive like what is the top in your idea?
My top, obviously, you all wanna when you're an artist, you wanna reach fame
Yeah.
and you wanna live off your music. However, my main objective now, since I have been doing this for 4 years and I know the reality of this, right? I am trying to create a catalog, right?
Yeah.
I am in long career to where my name surpasses generations.
Yeah.
Plus isn't just, oh, the guy who had one hit, but he probably had 300 songs, and out of those 300 songs, he has five that are super hits, 10 that are super great, 20 that people love to listen to, and then 50 that people listen to, and the other ones are like, like normal, people who have a specific niche they will love a
Yeah.
specific song,
Yeah.
which is mostly what all the successful artists have done. So with the exception of Michael Jackson, that has probably like 100 hits, 120 hits. You know, he has 100. I think out of 120, he's like he's batting 1,000. You know, yeah. But everybody else, like that, out there, they live a really good life out of the music, and also don't live a life that will burn it, because we all want fame and we all want to be known and we all want all the money, but do you know what comes with that too? It comes no privacy, no times of relaxation. You're running all the time from the media and from things like this. You can't even, excuse my words, but you can't even fart,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And you will be under scrutiny the entire time. I mean, I would much rather have a successful career in I wanna give you a perfect example. Jay Wheeler. Have you ever heard of Jay Wheeler?
No.
Exactly. And he's a perfect example of a successful artist who people love, like his music is awesome. He's worked with the biggest artists. He has a beautiful life, beautiful wife, beautiful kid, and he lives the life that he wishes.
Yeah.
And
We
nobody really bothers him.
Yeah, that's good. It's like
You
being
know?
a quiet umpire, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna have a beautiful life out of this craft.
Yeah. Just
And,
living
and I
about.
want to add to that because I already live beautifully off
Yeah.
of this craft. It's not of the generation of the wealth from it, but of the actual life that gives me. You know what I mean? The man that has made me, the the changes that I made in my persona, in my mentality, in the way that I live life,
Yeah.
in my tenacity to achieve my goals, in my trust, in myself and in God, in order for me to achieve everything that it is in my heart or in my visions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this job has this, especially this career, has trained me to visualize a lot and to perfect my visualization and to work on that, and to work on myself. I mean, every single day I'm growing and I'm still like a baby that has just been born,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
you
cool.
know?
Yeah.
And imagine, this is a 40-year-old telling you all of these things. I'm
Yeah.
speaking
That's,
as if I was 17 years old.
in my
This is
opinion,
this is
it's,
what it would make. Sorry to interrupt you one last time to finish the thought. This is what's gonna make you feel alive inside, no matter what age you have. The pursuit of becoming.
yeah.
You understand? In the process, you gotta. This is my advice to any artists out there, right?
Yeah.
Fall in love with the process,
Yeah.
and
If you like,
like a artist that creates, a sculpture out of rock. Grab that chisel and the hammer and hit yourself until you shape yourself into the best version that you want.
yeah.
You know
Yeah. And
what
if
you
you fall in love of the process, you will be unbeatable. Nobody will kill you, because even if it doesn't work, if you fail,